Good morning, folks. Hope you had your breakfast tacos again. It's Daniel again. You could tell it's the first day of school because there's traffic everywhere where I live. It made my Whataburger run last 20 minutes longer than I had expected, wanted, or anticipated. That is very much a first world problem, but we live in the first world. It's a problem. So there you go. What are we going to talk about today? Let's talk about school. Might as well, right? Pretty much everyone has started school. I know the San Antonio area, I don't think they don't start till Monday of next week. Everyone else, you're probably in class right now. And if you're listening to this during class, give me a shout out. Appreciate you paying attention to me rather than the teacher or professor or student assistant, or teacher assistant, I should say. We're going to talk about school. We're going to talk about how in the race that is the marching season, how I feel the first day or the first week of school is usually the first hurdle in this race. I don't really consider summer band a giant hurdle, because you're basically in a routine right off the bat. And you know what's coming. You know you have to report on a certain day for summer band. You know you're gonna be outside during a certain time. You know you're gonna be at the school from a certain time to a certain time. You kind of, if you've been through it one or two times, you kind of know the routine already. Especially if you have the same staff returning over and over again. However, first day of school, first week of school, very different. Very different. Now, with the invention, I shouldn't say invention, but the popularity of social media, the question we used to ask each other was, "Hey, how was your summer?" "Oh, it was great. We went to wherever." "Oh, it was okay. I did this." That question doesn't exist anymore. You already know how everyone's summer went. So those conversations don't take place anymore, I don't think. You see it on Instagram, you see it on Snapchat, social media, you see it in real time. For a lot of you people, you practically went on vacation with your friends. Only thing missing is the sunburn. First hurdle. You go to class the first day. You're meeting your teachers for the first time. Now, some of them you may know already. But for most of y'all, you go in there, you sit in the desk, you look up, there's a new face that you don't recognize. And you've heard rumors about those teachers. They're really cool, they're really nice, or this teacher's no good. He's really mean. This woman's crazy, whatever. You gotta deal with that. You have to deal with the anxiety of just passing through the halls, crowded hallways, crowded schools, trying to get to class on time. You may not necessarily know where you're going. You gotta deal with that. Then you get to class. Sit down, teacher says, "Okay, this is what we're doing. Here's a giant 50-page packet. These are when your tests are. These are when your quizzes are. This is the material, this stuff. And by the way, if you screw this up, your future is done." I'm not saying they may say that, but it's kind of how it feels like that. It feels like that sometimes. So you got to deal with that. Then comes lunch. Now you got to go to lunch. Did you bring your lunch? I used to bring my lunch. I started bringing my lunch halfway through high school. Before then, I was a sucker. I would go to the cafeteria. My one vice at the cafeteria were these spicy chicken sandwiches. They'd sell them for $1. And they had to put a restriction on how many you could buy because they were that good. You could only buy 3 at a time. And they would only make a certain amount. But that's, regardless, whatever. You go to lunch, you try to find someone you're going to sit with. You try to find, your little group of people. Of course, it's probably going to be band people. Sit with them, do your thing there. Then you've got more classes. You're like, God, I've been doing this forever. Feels like 15 hours when you've only really been there like 5 hours. Then after all that, you go through that whole anxiety, homework, tests, all the social crap that you guys deal with. Now you get to go to band. To me, band was like recess. It really was. It was like recess, but you can get in trouble for not doing good at recess. Like if you tried to climb the jungle gym and you fell off, no one really cared. Or if you fell down the slide, no one really cared. Can't necessarily do that during practice. There will be repercussions. That's the first hurdle. The first week of school. Because there are so many distractions for students now. And it doesn't just take place right in front of their face. It takes place on their phone. It takes place on the computer. All sorts of stuff going on. It's a lot to deal with. And now students are expected to either you do practice before school or after school. I personally prefer the practices after school. That was something that we were used to back then. But I understand some kids or some schools want to do it beforehand. When it's, only 90 degrees at 6 o'clock in the morning as opposed to 125 degrees at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The first week of school. So much is on your plate as a student. It's easy to get distracted. With the schools that I worked with in the past, the first week of school was usually the one time of the year when we would have discipline problems on the field. Because everyone's just chatting it up. Everybody wants to talk about their favorite teacher. They want to talk about who they have a crush on. They want to talk about who they're going to homecoming with. You can't lose those days. Those days are critical. If you end up losing those days, it's like, think about it, it's like taking away from the work that you did during summer band. The whole reason you do summer band is to, one, learn your drill, learn your music, get ahead, so that when school starts, you are already in that routine. You know exactly where to go on the marching field. You know exactly what's expected of you. You don't know what's expected of you the first day you go to, calculus. All you know is that it's going to be really hard. It's going to be a massive headache. At least it was for me. But with the whole band thing, it's a sense of normalcy. So when you start school, if you've started school already, treat the practice field as your sanctuary. That's how I communicated that when I marched. That's how I communicated that on the few times that I taught. It is your sanctuary. It is the place where you get to play awesome music, you get to move around the field, you get some exercise. Yeah, it's 1,000 degrees outside. That's your trade-off. But think of it as a distraction from the distractions you're going to be dealing with in school. Think about how many other and any other extracurricular activities treat their programs that way. Some of the best, and it doesn't matter what it is, the football team, basketball team, volleyball team, speech and debate, one-act play, it doesn't matter what it is. The really great programs treat their rehearsals. I don't want to say they don't take them seriously, because they do. But they're fun. They're energetic. It's a joy to be out there. It doesn't feel like work, even though you're definitely processing a lot of information, playing and moving at the same time. So make that happen. I personally liked my first days of school. They were pretty neat. You can see all your friends again. And now keep in mind, back when I went to school, social media was not a thing. Facebook still required, this is true, Facebook still required a valid college email address to sign up for it. That's right. You would submit your college email address. It was validated by Facebook within 48 hours. They would send you a confirmation link. You would click it, and you'd be good to go. Otherwise, you weren't allowed to use it. Nowadays, everybody has access to social media all the time. It can be a massive distraction. I get it. So use the marching field. Use the time you have in band to, decompress. Let that anxiety out. Your filter is your horn. Use it to your advantage. The great programs know how to do that, and they know how to communicate that from senior all the way down to freshman. And if you think about the early season, most Texas high school football games don't really start until Labor Day weekend. Now, for the first 2 games of the season, you're probably performing, a football show. Not necessarily a competition show. We used to call it the fun show. With the first 2 games of the season, all the alternates, everyone would perform. It would be, perform music from like the Scorpion King or something. Pretty simple drill. Something we can learn in a week. You do that for 2 days. You do that for 2 weeks. Third week, probably a competition show. Could be a home or away game. And then like the 4th week after school starts, you're basically in competition season. And that's kind of how it is this year. With the Bands of America Austin Regional being on September 23rd. By the way, speaking of that, look for your boy, September 23rd. I will be there. I'm bringing my friends with me. You know we're going to be doing live blogging. You know we're going to be eating those Bush's chicken tender rolls at the Austin Regional. I love those things. But I know better now. I know the secret. You can't go there at 8 o'clock in the morning and expect Bush's chicken tender rolls. I did that. I went there 2 years ago. And they didn't have them at 8 o'clock in the morning. I went back at 9 o'clock in the morning, they didn't have them. I went back at 10 o'clock in the morning, they didn't have them. Because Bush's doesn't open until like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. I look like a crazy person going up to the concession stand at the time. And I didn't want to, turn around and be like, oh, no, you don't have any Bush's chicken tender rolls? Okay, well, fine, then I'm out of here. I didn't want to say that. So I would go up there, oh, do you have any tender rolls? Oh, no, not yet, sir. Oh, okay, well, let me get a hot dog. Or let me get a slice of pizza or something. I felt so guilty. I didn't want to look like a total idiot. So I just bought something every time they didn't have Bush's chicken tender rolls. Austin Regional has some of the best concession food out of any regional I've ever been to. Kettle corn. Please have the kettle corn back. I want that kettle corn back. I digress. So anyways, first week of school, not the biggest hurdle, but it's the very first hurdle of the season. I hope you guys clear it. I hope you guys get out of there unscathed. And I hope you learn as much as you can, because when I'm there at the Austin Regional, I want to see some good programs. Some great performances, and there usually are. But yeah, I will be there at the Austin Regional September 23rd. Come say hi to us in the stands. We love meeting new people. Maybe drop us off some kettle corn. I'm just saying. We're just talking here. I think I'm done for now. I should be putting out another campfire story. We're going to be talking about football during the campfire story. You're damn right. So get ready for that. Questions, comments, leave them at the forums. Subscribe on iTunes. It's on SoundCloud. I'll probably put up a YouTube video at some point. Spread the word. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Adios. Bye-bye.